Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host, Ben. This was a kind of semi-spontaneous, I'm surprised this today actually turned out the way it did. It was semi-spontaneous. We have the anniversary show, and I didn't have anybody with any suggestions or any ideas. Liam, technically, has been fucking recording some bangers, but I didn't have anything locked down, so I have no idea what to do for an anniversary show. So we're celebrating 3 years of Chasing the Whimsy, CTW, and we've done a lot of cool things, like a lot of really interesting things. Like, I didn't want to do just an episode of shit that we've already done before. We've done cons. We have Megan. We got Sophia playing with us now. We got JJ doing things. I have 2 different setups. We got 3 books. We got we have so much stuff that we've done that you guys have seen over the last 3 years. And then for an anniversary show, I was like, well, what else can we, what other anniversary things can we do? And I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is weird. So I reached out to a buddy of mine from I started looking at some of the math because I don't have an exact date, but this is almost like a 21-year-old fucking anniversary show, man. We're going to go back to the original CTW, back when it was Crazy Team Wins, back in 2005. Right now, CTW is Ben, Liam, Sophie, Megan, everybody, my mom, grandma, Nikki. But if we go back 21 years ago, original CTW, Crazy Team Wins, was Ben. There was a guy named Justin. But today we're going to talk with probably one of the coolest guys that I know, Mr. Malleo. How you doing, Malleo?
Hey, I'm good, Ben. I'm glad to be here, man. It has been a long time.
It's been about a year because I did reach out to you a little while ago, and we had a fascinating conversation a year ago. But yeah, it's been fucking it's been so long. Um, uh, let's get to know you a little bit, because I think we're gonna go Ben heavy on this. I was thinking about this because I didn't know I was gonna try and script or outline a couple of questions and some things, and I couldn't figure out where I wanted this episode to go. But then I started thinking about it. Of all the people that I currently know, there's not a lot of people that know anything about Ben circa 2005 to 2007 or 8. You're the oldest person that I know outside of family, and the only person that I know still of that time. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, man, it's been a while since we were, an in-person force, and it's a shame I can't really locate any of the other folks that we used to hang out with and stuff. But I'm always glad to still know Ben. I still had your same phone number in my phone for 20 something years now, and you reached out to me, and I was like, oh, is this Ben? Number never changed. So it was really good to hear from you, man.
Um, well, it was interesting because when I reached out to you last year, I found your brother. I was searching everywhere that I could, and then you did keep your same number. Why did you keep the same number? Because you used to live local.
Right.
Then you did some New York stuff. You traveled a bunch. You're down maybe Florida-ish, right? Like, why did you keep your same phone number?
So when I moved from Phoenix to New York, I did change my number when I got there, and I reached out to the CTW folks and I gave them my new number. And I've had that number since 2006. And I did not want to change that number just in case if someone like you decided to reach out one day and hit me up. I've had some other folks reach out like, hey, is this still Mike's number? This, that, and the third. I'm like, yeah, it's me, but it wasn't anybody I'm like, super stoked to hear from. And then I hear that Ben's looking for me and he hits me up. And I'm glad I kept the same number because I gave that to you as soon as I got it when I moved to New York. I had a job opportunity that moved me out there, and it was a shame to leave the friends that I had made while I was there, but I did a lot of traveling. So I was always trying to make sure people could keep in touch with me. I moved a lot when I was younger, so it was kind of my plan to keep that number just in case. I have a lot of folks that uh, used to talk to me, used to reach out to me and stuff, but I don't think I'll ever change that number. I think I'm going to keep that number.
right? Um, your volume is a little bit laggy.
Is it?
Anything
Okay.
we could do to fix that?
Yeah, I can actually move. Give me a second. I got to get that set up. You may have to cut your feed for that because I'm going to have to go towards my
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
All right, hang tight. I'll
I know
rejoin.
how to edit this stuff.
I'll rejoin. I'll be right back.
How shitty would that have been if like we talked for the next like hour and a half and I forgot to hit record?
It
Uh,
would not be the worst thing that ever happened to you, Ben.
no, man, because I would have had an hour and a half conversation with you. All right, so there was a small technical difficulty. Um, was it Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it was my
Okay,
internet connection was
okay,
caca out in the studio.
all right. So I'm gonna have you repeat the previous question, which was, um, in 21 years, why have you not changed your phone number?
So I used to move around a lot, and when I moved from to New York, I had switched my number to a New York number, and I reached out to a bunch of real close people and let them know what my new number was. Some of those people kind of dropped off the face of the earth and stuff like that. So I decided I was going to keep this number because I was tired of switching numbers. I'm always moving, I'm always going from place to place. So, out of all of the time that I've had this number since 2006, I kept all of my contacts in there from everybody that I knew. And I decided that if anyone wanted to reach out to me, that they wouldn't have to guess what number I had or, do what you had to do and go find my family members or, dig on Facebook for where I'm at. So I don't think I'm ever going to change this number. I have no reason to change it. Phone numbers are phone numbers. I don't care where it's from.
Right. It's interesting because I mean, cell phones were relatively newish back in 05, 06, and people change their phone numbers all the time now. Like it just seems like every time you get a new phone, you get a new number. But it's interesting. Do you ever think about like in hindsight, like how like weirdly like significant it was that you decided not to make that change and keep that number for 21 years?
You know, I I had mentioned briefly I moved around a lot from the year 2000 to today. I've probably moved across the country 4 times, 5 times. I've gone to 3 or 4 different high schools. Every time we moved, I had a different phone number, a different address, and it was always, relatively impossible to keep in touch with the people that I did become friends with when I moved from place to
Right.
place. So that is the main reason why, is because I have so much experience losing touch. I kind of refused to do so. And yeah, man, I had a Nokia rubber button 10 button cell phone with the pull up antenna, all this jazz. Like while I was in. So yeah, man, the cell phones, they were still relatively new. So to be able to contact people on it at that time, it was really important that I didn't lose that. Because even going from cell phone to cell phone, you lose contacts, you lose numbers, you don't always know who to reach out to get those numbers. So I had no reason to switch that up anymore.
Right. Um, so when I was looking, so I was trying to prepare for it because I'm trying to see if I could identify when our paths would have crossed. And I think the anniversary is pretty close to July. Um, I started playing Magic the Gathering right around 2003. Um, I used to work at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
That used to be across the parking lot from Beyond Gaming. And then But I was like, when was it that I'm like, so no joke, I had to go Google it. I'm like, when did Mirrodin Block come out? And it's like October uh
Uh,
2003. I'm like, okay. I'm like, we met before the Mirrodin Block because I
I think it
remember
was
the
like
early days.
Odyssey, right after Odyssey, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
It was Onslaught.
Onslaught, that's what it was. Yeah.
So,
That was a
so I'm
great
like,
set, by the way. Like I'm never gonna stop harping on that. Like that era of Magic was incredible. Incredible. Like Sarah Angel, you look back on it now, you're like, wow, that card is trash. But at the time,
right.
everyone was like, oh my God, I'll pay you $40 for that right now.
Um, uh, what was interesting? I've never played trading card games prior to Magic the Gathering,
Hmm.
and having been able to walk across the parking lot, I walk. So what's interesting is I walk into Beyond Gaming, and I see like there's this rows of tables, and then there's a row tables of computers because you guys used to play fucking Counter Strike like crazy. Like when's the last time anybody played Counter Strike?
I mean, it's big now with Counter-Strike 2, but at the time, that was the place to be for one, World of Warcraft, when that was
Yep.
still in like vanilla. Two, Counter-Strike. Like there was no Call of Duty yet. There was none of that shit out yet. Like people were really gaming hard and they're paying
Right.
hours and hours to sit on those
Uh,
PCs, man.
like you lose the entire day. Um, but when I walked in there, it was interesting because it was there were some clicks. Um, you, Justin, a little bit of Ian. Like you mingled with everybody because you guys enjoyed the trade. Like
Yeah.
you guys were fucking big on the trade. And then I hung out with a couple of other people, but eventually at some point we all just fucking meet up and like uh because you guys were big in like deck construction. So from my early beginnings, I remember just somehow just finding because I was always buying shit. I
Right.
had cards all the time,
Yep.
and you guys, you and Justin always loved deck construction more than anything. It seemed like relatively decent at the game. You had a different understanding of it than most people did. So somehow I found my way into your universe, and I think that's when we started building like crap deck wins, and we were playing some of those early fucking Mind's Desires, fucking some of those early decks.
Right.
Um,
So I will
but
tell you what I remember from the card shop is there was a tournament or something going on, like whatever. I think it was just Friday Night Magic,
you're
whatever it
right,
was. And I'm hanging out with Justin, Jake, and maybe Keedron. And we hear that this guy, Ben, is having some sort of party at his house. I have not met Ben before. So we take a quick drive over in Justin's, what was that, a Buick Oldsmobile or whatever he was driving.
yeah,
And we go over to this guy Ben's house, and he's got this garage with just a huge table in the middle of it. There is nothing else in this garage but a giant card table. And we're like, okay, this is kind of cool. We got the beers going, we got the cards going, and that was literally the first time I hung out with you besides, with the trades and stuff like that in the
right.
shop. They were like, this guy, Ben, has his own house. I'm like, no way. Let's go. Like I got some pot on me. Like, let's go over and hang out. And this is the same day I find out Ben doesn't smoke pot, will never smoke pot, this, that, and the third. People offering him favors to hit their joint. He's like, nah, that's not me.
um, oh my god, um, I'm in the same house.
I know. And I'm not surprised, man, because you put your blood, sweat, and tears into that from the day that I knew you to apparently today, still working two jobs, doing your thing, man.
Right.
I've always
Uh,
kind of bragged about knowing you. I'm like, this guy was like a kid and he had his
dude,
own house, man. I said, I don't know
because I would
how
have
he did it.
turned.
And then I thought about
I
it.
would
I'm
have been
like,
22 years old.
yeah, sleeping at one job to work the other job and then conking out on your call center desk. and sleeping on the night shift. Like it was, I remember your hustle to keep that place
Man,
going, man.
it was crazy. And what was interesting was because I talk about you guys a lot because I just turned like 43, and a couple of years ago I go through like this midlife crisis of like I'm trying to find out who I was, and like when I think backwards, I'm like definitely those first couple of years um, were like wildly important to me because it was because I had the house, I was hanging out with like fucking some cool people, um, and it was this like it was the best life I could have lived at 22 years old. And we just did like nothing. Like we were just, it was like the weirdest 22. Like that's, we did literally whatever we wanted.
That was it.
But, but somehow we still had a house to fucking go back to.
Yeah.
Um, so how old were you back in 0203?
So when I met you, I believe uh, I was either in my senior year of high school or getting close to it. So I was probably about 17, 18 years old
Oh,
when
that's
I first
crazy.
started going to the card shop there. And that's how I made friends because I had like just moved there in
Yeah.
'03. And um, like the years previous, I was in a couple of other high schools before that, and someone got me into the card games. So in
Mm.
like '01, that's when I was introduced to Magic. And this guy had like a billion cards. He was like this guy who sat on eBay all day looking for like bulk buys and all this other stuff. So when I went from school to school, that's how I met people. So when I went to Greenway High School, uh, I noticed a bunch of fucking nerds sitting in the library. And I come and sit down. I'm like, hey, you guys got a trade folder? And it just kind of took off from there. So that's
Oh,
how I ended up running into you was Magic. That's literally the only way I would have met you was through Magic.
yeah, I was, and I don't understand why I started playing Magic. Like, I knew of the game, and I used to work at the bowling alley, and for the most part, like, an old 22-year-old Ben was just, like, the cockiest fucking guy I've ever met. Um, but when I was bowling, I was hustling money over there. Like, I had a whole world in bowling,
Yep.
and there's no reason for me to come over to fucking learn how to play Magic, and, like, it blows my mind. I don't know,
I still
like, how
remember
I would've
too,
gotten
man.
into
You were the lefty who was pushing your 240 average and you were trying to get
right?
that up and you'd be doing your Texas Hold'em hustle on the side or like blackjack. I remember you would blackjack folks for like 40 bucks a hand and then we'd buy some beers with it and stuff. So yeah, I remember your
Uh,
bowling hustle.
right? Um, well, what's interesting is you guys taught me a little bit of the hustle, in Magic because so my nephew JJ plays, Pokemon, and Pokemon's a fucking great game. But Pokemon players, they will 'cause we all have phones now, so when you trade for Pokemon, you trade legit dollar to dollar.
Right.
So if you get a trade binder, you pull out some stuff, you can't trade unless the numbers equal the same.
Right.
But you go back in the day, with like Magic, it was
We
you look
didn't
at my
have
binder,
that.
I look at your binder, and then if it was a little bit skewed, nobody cared.
That's right. So my
And so
yeah,
after
my
the
hustle was always in the trades, man. I was playing Magic a whole bunch. And then they had these like events, these like Magic conferences where they'd have like the big
yeah,
tournaments and stuff like that. And I'd be trading Magic cards for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then I would
yeah,
turn around and trade those Yu-Gi-Oh cards for way bigger Magic cards and so on and
right,
so forth. I was rocking, I mean, they weren't as expensive as they are today, but
right.
I had dual lands. I had foils of some like beautiful old cards. I had a deck at one point before I left that was probably worth somewhere around 1,200 bucks,
Oh
and
wow,
I had a job that paid $6 an hour. There was no
right.
way I was going to afford buying those cards, so I hustled, man. Like that was a big thing that we did was we, you, me, and Justin, we'd be sitting there at the card table, and some kid's like, "Oh, I want to trade for that." We'd go through his folder, and I'd see some stuff he is completely unaware of what he has, and I'm like, "Listen, I'll give you this 8/8 Yavamaya worm for your for your like ridiculous like 300 card." He's like, "Can I have two?" I'm like, "Sure, kid. Like, let's go." And this kid's like, "Score."
Well, and I don't feel bad, but because some of these kids are
Not at
just
all.
net decking stuff. So
That's right.
like you'd rip a pack and they'd be like, oh, here's a card, and they'd want it so bad. You're like, well, how bad do you want it? Because I'll give
Yep.
you freaking 3-1 on this thing, so you can have this $9 card that you will never use, but I'll take these 4 or 5 other cards that may or not be slightly above or below, but would see more play. It was always fun
It
doing
was,
it.
yeah, they would only know what other people were playing. So when they saw
Right.
the cards, they were like, I have to have that. And then I'd go through their folder and I would see so much potential going on. And then like those Goblin Char Belcher decks were coming out with the Eldritch Horrors and stuff, and everybody wanted that stuff. And it was all junk. It was only going to last one standard cycle. And I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely, I will trade you this type 2 card that's going to last another 6 months for 4 of these type 1 cards like Birds of Paradise
Right.
or whatever it is. And they're like, sure, yeah. And
Right.
we just escalated from there. We escalated.
Uh, it's it's funny because my sister, she reached out to me because JJ just started going to card shops now, and
Right.
she's like, "You need to go with this guy and start teaching him some stuff." She's like, "Your uncle Ben, go make sure nobody takes advantage of him." I'm like, "Oh, okay, so make sure he doesn't run into a Ben because." And then so when I go now, I do feel very comfortable when I walk into a card store, like
Hmm.
really almost cocky when I walk into one now. I'm like, yeah, I know this
Yeah,
game,
man. This used to be my house.
right? Um,
We lived in that
so
store, man. They had, you remember they used to have the overnight
yep,
lockups where they would have like a release party on a Friday and they would lock the doors until like 6 in the morning, 5
right.
in the morning, and we would just play Magic with booster packs that haven't even been released yet. That was the jam.
Oh, those are
Expensive,
good days,
but that was the jam.
right? And then so and what's interesting is our relationship goes from some like pretty heavy Magic the Gathering. Like I'm up there a
Hmm.
bunch. Somehow I felt like I had money. And in hindsight, I didn't really have the money. I just worked a lot. So I'm buying a bunch of stuff and you guys were helping me build decks and we were brainstorming things and I was trying you guys taught me like different card technique and so like it was the origin was very beyond gaming heavy. But then at one point I was like, hey, how about you guys keep coming back to my house for these parties? And then you guys never left.
That's right. We did not because it ended up being kind of like a safe space. You
Yeah,
know, we all either still lived with our parents or whatever the deal was, and if we wanted to get, fucking hammered for 2 days straight, that's where we'd do it. We'd be at Ben's, and some of
right.
us would, knock out face down on a table, or, you had a pretty empty living room at the time, so you'd have some folks camping out in there, and then we'd wake up and do it all over again.
Uh, what was, uh, I never drove. Like, what were
Actually,
some
you
of
did.
your?
Actually, you did.
I did. I did illegally.
Illegally, as did I, but we got around when we had to.
Um. So what are some of your things looking back? See this 22-year-old Ben has a house. Some people are coming in and out. Randomly crashing on the floor. Playing Magic, hustling, doing his thing, but not being able to drive. Like for some reason, this guy only got around by like either walk to work or someone gave him a ride somewhere.
Right. Well, you have people you could rely on. And the way that I saw it was, Ben had some solid people around him that knew him for a long time or whatever the deal was. I was still relatively, new to Ben, but I knew that Ben had his resources and everything was a walk, man. I remember walking for hours to get to where we
Yep.
needed to go and whatever, event was going on, or if we had to go pick somebody up, we'd be making phone calls trying to get rides going. Like, you did what you had to do, same as everybody else in the circle. None of us were driving. I think the only person with a car was Justin.
And he had no problem just driving us around doing his thing. Um,
Until we
so
started
over the
doing wild stuff in his car, and then that's a different story. um
right.
his poor
So
car.
uh, so eventually, so at some point, it definitely turns into the main three people. So of all the people coming in and out, it would eventually end up being you, Justin, a little bit of Leon, and a little bit of Ian. And then like some people come in and go, but for the most part, the only people that would leave in my house were one of you four. So when I go to work, what are you guys doing?
Still at your house chilling.
Just
Sometimes. But what I'm doing when Ben is working two jobs and he's indisposed, for a while, I was doing a lot of PC gaming. I'd still go to the
okay,
card shop and, I'd do my hustle and challenge some people to one-on-one, see what kind of stuff was going on. I was real heavy into Magic, man. When I was still in high school, I used to skip class just to deck build. I'd be like, English class sucks. I'm going to go sit over in the lunch area and I'm going to go build a deck with this new stuff that just came out, like zombie goblins or something like that, like I was always like way too into the game. It was definitely taking a lot of my mental
right.
space. And I think while Ben was busy, I was either going to Ben's to see if he was there. I'm like, oh, he's not there. I'm like, oh, but I have this homemade bong that I made the last time I was here. Let me take a rip out of this real quick, and then I'm gonna go figure out who else is around. Go take a walk over to Leon's. He wasn't too far from you. So we had like I had kind of like a system. We're
Okay,
checking to see if Ben's around. Ben's not around. All right, I'm going to take a walk over to Leon, see what he's doing. He's always home. He was
right.
like a school janitor for a while, but during the summer, he maybe worked like 2 days a week, 3 days a week tops. So we were always hanging out. And then later in the day, Leon would drive us over to see if you were doing anything, and do another check on Ben. Ben's either face down in bed because he just got done with 16 hours of work, or he's ready to party and he's got the Crown
Right.
Royal out and we're ready to go. Crown
Um.
Royal and cloves. That is
Oh,
Ben-esque.
I used to smoke cloves. Like I was such a douchebag.
Like a fiend. You used to smoke cloves like a fiend. Your house smelled like an incense, like a giant incense holder.
Oh man, I was like,
Hold on 2 seconds.
uh, the confidence that I had was like unbelievable in hindsight. Like
And
just
you
chain
had it,
smoking
man.
cloves.
Yeah,
I did.
you had it, and a lot of people picked up on your confidence or tried to, and it got them places. Also, I'll say it also got them some places because you were kind of like the magic slash poker crowd role model for how to get it done. You were this 22-year-old kid doing your hustle, and we're like, damn, we could all be a little bit more like Ben.
Right. And then what I think is interesting is you guys didn't really like you guys had school and kind of doing your own thing. But what was interesting was, um, because at one point, you and Justin came over and were hanging out more, and we used to do this thing where we would walk around or we'd go to Denny's every Monday, and
Yep.
here's something that like kids today will never experience, but the refry. Like you guys used to like for like when I'm working, you guys are driving around, hit all the hot spots for ashtrays.
That's right.
So go, I come home and there'd be on the table just a pile of old half smoking cigarettes.
That's right.
And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And you're like, well, we need smokes. And I was like, how about we get like, I don't know, go get a job. I'm like, just work enough to keep yourself in food, gas money, and smokes, man. Like it's like we don't need to be smoking refries. Um, and then slowly and surely, like what I find is interesting is there was a small playbook that I was writing of like what does a random 22-year-old do to own a house? Like it's so weird. But Justin ended up getting a job, you ended up getting a job. Um, and we would literally just work to play Magic and to smoke.
That was it. And for Swedish meatballs and 40s of whatever beer we could find.
Right?
And we did a lot of 40s. We did a lot of random hard liquor. It's like whatever had the higher alcohol content was obviously going to be the most cost efficient way to have a good night. And we would
Uh,
all feel absolutely awful about three
yep.
quarters of the way through the night. So we'd either stop by the grocery spot, pick up some Swedish meatballs, or we'd end up at Denny's for those little mini burgers or whatever
Right.
they had, and go on with the night and it go until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
And it was always Monday night because I had Tuesday, Wednesday off, which is the worst days of the week to have off. But if you're fucking 22 and you got a house full of like just some recently graduated kids, it's like I don't know, like what do we do on a Monday? We're like, let's find out. So we got into Mischief Monday, and I was like, there we go. And we would get into like some of the weirdest trouble. They never got in trouble, but we
Right.
made a lot of trouble.
We made a lot of commotion in that area. If I will absolutely attest to that. Uh, I'd probably say, there's obviously a couple of things that stand out the most with Mischief Mondays, which was street bowling and
Yep.
the playing side baseball.
Mhm.
And those were probably two of the most exciting things that we could possibly do at 1 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the
Right.
desert. And I do
Uh,
remember this one time we chucked a bowling ball while we were driving about 60, and the bowling ball increases in speed exponentially on every bounce. And now this ball is now going 110 miles an hour down like Bell or wherever we were at, and smashes into a curb going about 100 miles an hour and splits exactly in two. And that has its own story.
oh, well, oh shit. I have that in the garage somewhere. I got to check the date on that thing. I think the date on that was like October of 23
Yeah,
or
oh 03,
but
oh 04 maybe.
oh man, maybe four. It was what I always found interesting and why I liked you guys is because I know because like you said earlier, I never smoked, but how creative like stoners could be. I always really connected well with stoners
Right.
because like you said, you made like a homemade bong looking thing with a piece of fucking uh bamboo and some fish tank hose.
That's right. And
And I was like,
Justin's trumpet mouthpiece.
yeah.
And that made an excellent bowl to smoke out of. You just put like a little
uh,
screen in there. It was fantastic.
because I'd go to work and I come back and I'm like, and I'd always be interested to be like, what did these guys end up doing for 8 hours? I'm like, all right, they probably slept in until noon. I'm like, what have they been doing for the last 3 hours? And like, sometimes you guys are just so excited just to be like, here's what we like. We did a bunch of nothing, or check out the new deck. Um, I did, I did pay you guys to roll some cigarettes. I'm like, roll me a carton, you can have a pack, and you guys just spend all day just fucking just cranking fucking cigarettes.
Yeah, sir.
Uh, yeah, it
We
was
had
crazy. It was fun times, man.
we had to have
Um,
our own hustle while you were hustling. You were providing us with some space to hustle to do our
right.
thing, so it was always
Um,
appreciated. We always tried to be responsible adults in your house to whatever extent that could possibly mean at
right.
18, 19 years old.
Uh, uh, the out, a little bit after Magic, we still played, but we really got real big into poker. Did you know anything about poker before we started? Because we were playing for like hours, hours. We would play.
Yeah. I
Uh,
knew how to play poker before I met you. That was like in my household, card games were already a thing, whether it was like gin rummy or five card stud, stuff like that. Like my household always had that kind of, you know, card game vibe to it. Not like, trading card games, but I've always kind of been inclined to go towards the card game route for
right,
entertainment. So you had this big setup going on where you would have these poker nights with folks coming over, throwing cash on the table, this, that, and the third. And yeah, we ended up getting a little more interested in it because we saw you hustling on that. And some of us thought that we were world championship poker players some days.
right,
Like Keedron would come in with a whole fistful of confidence and he'd leave a little butthurt that Haas took him for everything that he had because Haas had this
right,
poker face that Keedron couldn't understand kind of deal. So there were a lot of, you know, new introductions to cards and hustling
right.
after Magic for sure.
Uh, and we would play for like. And what was interesting, and what was always fun was like we slowly developed the fucking CTW because like we want to take each other's money. We're like, there's no fun in that.
Right.
So when we're out driving around, it's like, hey, Haas, you play poker? So do we. Come on over. And like him and Iceman.
Yeah, that was the
Uh,
other guy.
oh, there was another guy. And we would just play for like hours at a time. And somebody would just like, the, okay, real quick. What did the garage look like? What do you remember of the garage at the height of the poker and the shenanigans?
Concrete floor, pocket aces pinned to the walls after every time someone lost with pocket aces, and a shelf that we used to store our homemade bongs on. And that was about it. There was not a lot in your
Right.
garage.
Uh, I had couches on each side of the wall.
Okay.
Because people come over, we got to entertain. Um, and then or if you guys pass out, you guys have a place to pass out. Because I rarely let the majority of people into the house. I'm like, here's the rules: you got to pee, you go back on the
Right.
pee rock. Um, uh,
I fondly remember your backyard on many occasions. Yes.
uh, we used to play in the backyard. Late night Mondays, just drinking. My neighbors hated us.
You're right. I do remember the couches. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember your neighbors. You had neighbors on either side of a wood fence,
Right?
and you were completely enclosed on a pretty tall wooden fence. So you
Yeah.
had some privacy back there, but obviously not audio privacy, just some visual privacy. Yeah, you had a nice yard. I remember your big trampoline back there.
Yep. Uh,
Obviously that trampoline is dead and gone, I'm assuming,
it
because of
is
the sun.
it is gone.
Yeah.
Um, God, it was stayed there for a while. Like no joke, 6 years ago it was probably still out there.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it was out there for a while.
It was a staple for your backyard, man. We'd go out
Right?
there a little drunk, roll around on it, or whatever the deal was. It's a good little decoration back there for a while.
Right. Uh, uh, it was a good times. Um, what were some of the bigger moments, whether like Ben adjacent or caused by Ben? What were some of the big highlights of that time frame? Because we
So
only
I
really hung out for like what, 3 years?
Yeah, something like that. There was, I mean, there was a lot of big stuff, man. I would say like I do remember a lot of our time at like the bowling alley and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I had lived in a few years before that. I lived in, and then I moved somewhere else, and then my mom brought us back to, and the first time I was in, the only thing to do where I was at was bowling. And I spent a lot of time at the bowling alley when I was younger. And then when we moved back to, that's kind of like, that was like a place that I really enjoyed being. So the fact that you were as big into the bowling as you were, like I always remember hanging out at the bowling alley. Like that was always a good memory, and we could still smoke cigarettes and drink
Yeah,
beer in the bowling alley at the time. So that was like a cool place to hang out because it was kind of like we could still treat it like a hangout spot.
right.
So I'd say bowling was a big one. Obviously, magic. Like I even today, like if I had the cash to just dump on it, I'd hop right back into magic. I tried a couple of times, and when I lived in New York, I got back into Magic a little bit, and I crushed some kids at like some local tournament that was going on, and never played again. I'm like, all right, let's move on from that. And then everybody does this commander shit now, so I'm not interested in that shit.
The,
But
the idea behind Commander is cool, but I can't. I just don't. They're just so fucking cheesy when they play the game.
yeah,
Like
I'm
they
not a
make
fan.
like they're always flexing on something, and or they're describing the game like each play like you're an idiot. Because like in our prime, we could play an entire game without speaking. Like we knew turn one fucking forest, birds of paradise, you know, respond shock. Like you're able to
Right.
like play games significantly faster and everything had its place. And there was a like a shorthand to it where I just show you the card and you're like, all right, done. And you slide it off to the side or whatever else. And you play now and everybody's just like real fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you about this fucking cool card. I'm like, no, like I know what it is, dude. I get
Like
it.
I
Like,
don't want to know, man. It's like, what does it do? Great. Let's move on. Like I
you're right.
don't need to sit there and read, the flavor text on it and have you give me a description of the artist's background before they decided to make this picture. Like I
Right.
don't need that, man. Like let's play. Let's go.
Um, let's
But
see. Uh, uh, where did you work? Because eventually I got to the point where I'm like, I didn't really ask anything of you guys, to be honest with you. I didn't ask for rent. I just asked, don't ask me for a bunch of fucking money, but keep yourselves in smokes. Keep, let's, we'll go out and have some fun, and I, treat to food occasionally. But like, you guys never took advantage of
no,
anything specifically. But I asked very little of you. Just when I'm at work, do something semi-productive, and eventually you got a job. Where would you end up working?
I ended up working at the Bell Hotel where you happened to work the night shift, and I started out on the day shift, and that was actually my first gainful employment after high school ended. So I was
Oh
working there
shit!
full time, and I would come into work, and Ben would be leaving after a 8 hour overnight shift or whatever it was, 12 hours. Maybe they'd have you do a double, whatever it was, and I'd see you leaving, and I'd go in and take my post.
And how long were you there? Because you were so you do you remember the dates of that?
I was at the Bell Hotel for almost the entire, I want to say I left in September of 2006, and I was there for 2 years. So it had to have been at least the second half of '04 that I started
Okay.
working there.
Uh, what I like about uh you guys, Justin ended up getting a job at Target, and you guys held down your jobs. And we always found our way back to each other in the middle of the day or the night, and then get into whatever mischief we could. But like, I always thought it was cool. Um, like, I don't know, weird kind. I don't know, kind of weird, I guess. Um, Having you guys around and really only keeping like the two or three of you around mostly. Like, it was kind of fun for me to kind of show you guys this like more or less playbook of like, you can do whatever you want, but here's what some responsibility looks like. And I like that for the most part, you guys kept those jobs for the 2 years. Um, so it was
Yeah, I
always
kept it
I was like,
until almost the day that I moved to New York.
right,
That was my job. I worked doubles. I worked 6 days a week, 7 days a week sometimes.
right. Um, so what was the reason? So we were fucking thick as thieves, man. Like, for the most part, we were doing pretty good. Um, and eventually you decide you want to move to New York. So why in '06 do you consider moving and eventually move to New York?
I hadn't heard from my brother in I'd probably say 6 or 7 years. And he hits me up one day out of the blue and he tells me he's got this job that he's working in New York and New Jersey and he's making, X amount of dollars a day, a week, whatever it is. And, I've always been kind of like a family oriented person, but I was also just looking to kind of move up. The money was enticing, and I kind of wanted to do a little more for myself while the minimum wage and was, 4.50 an hour, or $5 an hour, or whatever it was at the time. My brother was telling me he was pulling in, anywhere between $500 to $700 a day or 2,000, $2,500 a week, depending on how many hours he wanted to put in. So, hearing my brother wanted me to be a part of that, I kind of that was my priority is I wanted to make more of myself
Right,
than working the night shift at a small hotel in the middle of
right, right. Um, you remember what we were thinking about when you had to drop the bomb on us that you were like, "Peace out, guys, I'm leaving you."
um I know it was around my like I was actually going to leave on my 21st birthday or around my 21st birthday, but I don't remember a lot of the lead up to it because it was kind of a blur. Like my life was about to change, and I think my brain just you know, kind of fuzzed out a little bit towards the end there. So if you want to give me some insight, maybe I'll remember, but a lot of that lead up was kind of fuzzy to me at this point.
Um, it would have to have been after you turned 21 because I took you out for your birthday when you turned 21,
Right,
and we went to the pool hall. This random pool hall. I have no idea why we went there, but you were there with your girlfriend at the time who worked at the who lived and worked at the hotel, and her
right.
uncle. And all I remember is that we got so fucked up that her uncle lost his shoe, and then it rained, and then I threw up outside.
I do remember the bar. I do remember on my 21st that's where we were at. I do remember that, and I do remember kind of talking to you about me moving and how that was going to go.
um, I I've always I thought is it like as much fun as we had and as much as I genuinely cared about you guys. Like, I and like obviously at 22, 23, 24ish, and you guys are just like 20, 21. Like, I was never going to say it, right? But like, I generally did care about you guys' well-being and just overall fucking general happiness. So when you came to me and you were like, I want to fucking move to New York, I just had the one girlfriend move in. So like, things were already starting to slowly kind of like separate a little bit.
Hmm.
And I think I knew a little bit before you, but I think it was the end of an era, and I 100% supported you. Like I thought it was the really coolest thing, because in the 2.5 3 years that we were hanging out, you went from like we're smoking reef fries to like I got a job and a girlfriend, and now I'm going to like uproot everything and if I can go to New York. And I always admired you for the idea of like just uprooting and just chasing something else, which I always thought was fucking cool. And I've always admired you for um, you just uprooting everything within like a couple of weeks and be like, I'm going off to fucking New York.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, it was obviously terrifying making a change like that, but I had been so accustomed to not staying in one place for very long as it was. Like, I kind of had the mindset already that this was something that I'm capable of doing. So when the opportunity arose, I tried to bring her with me to New York,
Hmm.
which did not last very long. She was not down to do ramen and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches while
Right.
we got set up. So that kind of ended after maybe a couple of months of her not being coddled by her parents. But
Right.
I've always been down and I'm still down to like hustle and struggle to get what I want. I will preface with the fact that before I moved, I did start getting into the music stuff. I was hanging out,
Hmm.
spending a lot of time with Leon because you were working two
Yeah.
jobs and stuff like that. So if I wasn't hanging out with you at your place or doing something at the card shop, I was with Leon, and I had bought a drum kit, my cymbals, my pedals, and stuff like that. And besides a garbage bag full of clothes, that's all I moved to New York with was clothes and my drum set, and that was it. I had no money saved up to do it. I had enough to get a plane ticket one way, and it was literally just a dream. It was like let's go, and that's
Oh,
I went and flew by the seat of my pants, Ben. Like that
right.
was how it went.
Like it's so weird because like I do miss, I 100% miss everything that we did, but I knew a little bit then and obviously more now, like it was never gonna last forever. Like we can't be 21 forever.
No,
But I bought my house when I turned 21, which was a fucking roller coaster in itself. And then when you turn 21, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do the equivalent of like buy your house. And you're just like, I'm gonna up and go do something. Uh, so like I was always really fucking proud of you for deciding to make that. It was the best time to make that move if you were going to. Like you had fucking nothing else to do at 21. Like,
right. I didn't have
um,
I don't wanna, like, shit on what I did have, but it
yeah,
wasn't enough to be like, "This is what I wanna do for the
yeah,
rest of my life." So when an opportunity came up, like, yeah, I was gonna take it. I was gonna try to shoot for something a little
right.
bigger than what I was doing.
Do you think the 3 years hanging out, fucking being CTW, helped prepare you for that move,
Dude,
or give you the confidence to actually pull the trigger on it?
that's that's how it prepared me, is it gave me confidence. I was, a pretty quiet kid when I moved. And then the more people I started to know, or, the more stuff I started to get involved with, I started meeting new people. But it wasn't until the Ben days that it became a matter of confidence over um, like what you have. Like it wasn't about what
Right.
we had, it was about how we were going to get it and what we were going to do with it after we got it. So yeah, man, that was kind of like a New York philosophy too. Like it's all hustle in New York. So yeah, man, it prepared me. I will say that prepared me.
Um, what is interesting is for 3 years, I have a occasionally CTW, so chasing the whimsy today. Um, I when we started coming up with ideas for the podcast, I was like, I really want CTW. I'm like, it was a time in which was my favorite time of life, I think. was these 3 or 4 years CTW. So that's why we chose it, and I had to figure out like I'm like I need words that start with W, and that's where we came up with Whimsy. They were chasing it because in reality, it's like it's so weird. It fits really perfectly because even though we were crazy team wins, we were all chasing that Whimsy, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's we just did whatever it is that we wanted, and like you said, like we didn't know how we were gonna get it, but we just did until we got
That was the point, though, is how do we get it? And there would be like this brainstorm of a handful of drunk people or high people sitting around, like, how do we get this? How do we do this? And
right,
then it's like, bing, like someone's gonna figure it out. And then we all kind of like figured out our own way to pursue it or
right,
attain it. And that's life,
um,
man. Like when you hear something you want, like you got to figure out how you're gonna get it.
right. There was a motto that we had back in the day, and I've held it for 3 years because I haven't told anybody what our original motto was. And it was the one motto that we really lived by for the most part for the 3 years. Somehow we came up with it, and we would hold each other accountable for it. Do you remember what that little motto we had was?
Yeah, you say it, you do it. You speak it, you do it.
You think it, you speak it, you do it.
That's it, man.
Like you get
That's how I ended
you
up
get
with pierced nipples. I wasn't gonna back down from that motto, brother. That's how I ended up with two pierced nipples and almost passed out on the second one because the piercer hesitated on the second one, and I almost conked out in that chair, man. That was an experience. That was an experience. I also took that motto even without you being present. I was with a couple of people and we're like, let's go get some ice cream. And there was a tattoo shop right next to the ice cream place. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go get a tattoo. And instead of getting ice cream, I sat down and got a tattoo instead for, I think it was like $40, like whatever the price was for
right,
a tattoo at the time, and this is still the only tattoo that I have was from the guy at the piercing place. His tattoo artist did that, and I kept going back there for whatever it was, for him to check
right,
out my swollen and inflamed
right.
nipple or whatever the problem was. But yeah, man, it was you speak it, you do it.
Oh, like and I still to this day live by that. I think a lot. Like I've had some ups and downs over the last 20 years. Um so my headspace gets like real low, fucking depressed. Like so I've been in uh all up and down the fucking the scale. But even to this day, I won't say anything out loud because I hold myself accountable for like what I'm like, part of me was like, well, what if they ever heard me say it and then they'd hold me accountable for it? And like out of nowhere, you'd be like, "Whoa, wait, I just found your podcast and you said you were going to do this." So, um, I do it. I think that's such a fucking fun way to kind of like live like your like I guess like life in general, but especially when you're young. Like if you have an idea and you say it out loud, like why not hold yourself accountable for that? Like let's do it.
You know what it was, man? Our group was a group of guys that were a bunch of yes men.
Yeah.
If an idea came up that was even close to possibly being an exciting or fun moment, everyone's like, "Yes, let's do it." We were a whole bunch of yes men. Like that's how I always saw us. If there was
Right.
an opportunity, let's take it. Let's go. Who's got gas for the car? Let's do this.
Oh, and like three or four random stoners on a random Monday, and every once in a while, you used to fucking call me out on that shit all the time. Like we'd be sitting in the car and I'd have an idea, and you'd be like, "Oh, you're like, what are you thinking?" I'm like, "I can't say." You better say it. And then like that's how we throw a bowling ball out the window. Like so,
Because
Justin's
you would
driving.
go, what if we did this? And it's like, guess what? Now we're doing it.
We left Denny's, and we get in the front seat, and my bowling ball was in the front seat, but when we open the doors, the cab light turns on, and it just shined on this bowling ball, and then I had this fucking moment where I'm like, I didn't want to say it yet until he was driving, and you guys were like both of you were like, "What is this guy thinking?" I was like, "Turn here, turn here." I said, "Stop real quick." And then we see this big half-mile strip of road, nothing on it,
Never
and I'm
forget it.
like, and then I'm like, and they're like, and you guys waited for it, and you're like, I pull it up, and you're like, "What's he gonna do with his bowling ball?" And I'm like, "Just drive."
Yeah, we went at least 60 before you chucked it out the window. I think we actually had, I will say we had to do it a couple of times because the
Yeah.
first couple of times we chucked it out, it didn't quite work or it just like went onto the sidewalk or into someone's yard or whatever it was. But that third rip, man, that thing was
Oh,
moving.
like to the point where like it was moving so fast, we're like he had to stop because we didn't know what this thing was gonna do.
No,
Like we man. Now what's interesting is we were reckless, but we were very aware of our surroundings. Like we weren't just throwing bowling balls off like fucking overpasses and fucking killing people.
right.
We were like, because I'm like, I specifically knew what road I wanted because I'm like, there is nothing on this road. We're not gonna kill anybody. Um, but yeah, man, like we threw it and then all of a sudden we just like stopped because we have no idea what this 100-mile-an-hour bowling ball is gonna do. Oh, I absolutely love it, man.
Were
That
you
was so fun. That was
ever,
so funny.
so we were a little reckless, but more on the juvenile side. It wasn't like malicious.
Right. Yeah, definitely more like destructive, but we weren't but no one was gonna get hurt. And what's interesting is I'm curious on how much of this I keep in there in this because like my kid listens and he's gonna be like, well, my dad did this. Um
You did say that you could edit this, so yeah.
um but yeah, there was a lot of it was a lot of because like I got to this point where what was interesting was we never really talked like real deep. Like, we did speak like philosophical about things, but like I
Sure.
don't know if we ever got into like the I'm feeling blue and like a bunch of therapy session, but we definitely did talk a bunch. And there was a moment where I'm like, I need something. Like I'm tired of working because it would be go to the overnight hotel, go to the call center, and then from the call center go to the night laundry, and then I would like there was a time where I was working 3 jobs and I was
Yeah.
like, I need something juvenile. Like I'm tired of being an adult. And you guys were like, let's fucking do it.
Yep.
Dumpster diving?
Yep. Oh, hell yeah. We used to go behind the electronic stores and jump in the dumpsters because we're like, there's no food garbage in here. Let's see if we got any tech in the garbage cans. I will never forget that either. We used to go jump in like the Best Buy garbage or whatever it was
Right.
and see if we couldn't find I'm pretty sure on a couple of occasions we found a stack of the blank CDs
Yep.
and we used to take those and I actually still have a stack of burned CDs from that
Nice.
time where we took those and I probably have maybe 15, 20 CDs I burned from our dumpster diving adventures still in a
Oh,
CD
that's
book.
nice. Oh, that's so much fun. Um, were you worried when you left? So when you left, right? You're doing your CTW. You spoke it out loud. You have to now go. So when you left, what were some of your feelings about leaving? Like what were you hoping for? And what were you going to miss? Do you remember?
So the stuff I was really hoping for was more like I was tired of living check to check or, not making much money to better myself. It was more just, I made enough money to buy cigarettes, buy weed, buy beer, put some gas in somebody's car so we could get around kind of deal. But it was more to see if I could get out of the repetitive nature that my life had taken at that point. uh, what I was trying to accomplish was more geared towards the music stuff because I was really mentally like into it. I had taught myself how to play drums just by listening to the music I was listening to, or the guy's drum set that I used to like. I used to watch him play and stuff like that. So I went out there to kind of try to make a name for myself. So I had this idea that not only would I find this job, but I would go out there and make a name for myself. So that was kind of
It's
my
it's
goal.
New York. You're the center of the world. There's a long history of like old indie bands and like old like musicians and stuff found out of New York. So you're just like, I'm going to be this guy. Someone's going to find me in a bar and be like, this is my story.
I wanted to be that guy. And the problem is that at the time the only social media platform out was MySpace. So you weren't advertising your band like you would today, where you could set up events and, go on 4 or 5 different social media platforms and stuff like that, or post it on the internet on like a Google event. None of that stuff was around yet. So all of it was kind of word of mouth. So my hustle era from kind of helped me do that. I used to deliver tickets door to door for shows that we were
Nice.
doing, or I'd take a train for 2 hours and go meet up with somebody to go sell a ticket for $10, like whatever it took. Like I still had that hustle, and that's kind of how I
Right.
made a name for myself out there.
Like you look back and you're like, well, Ben's still working 2.5 jobs, killing himself. I can hand out some stuff. Like I love that. I love the idea that uh some of the stuff that you take from our time was you have to put in something to get something out.
That's right. Because
Like we got it.
if
We
you
got
don't
into a
put in the
budget.
effort, you're not
Yeah,
getting, and it's not reciprocal.
yeah. So fucking good for you. Did you ever hit it big? What did you end up doing in New York?
So I did end up in a band, and it did go pretty big actually. I'm not sure if you're familiar with anything out in New York, but I did play at some of the biggest venues in New York City in front of several thousand people.
Nice,
Gramercy Theater, Irving Plaza,
nice.
Webster Hall, BB King's before they tore it down in Times Square. I played at 2 different Times Square venues. Some of the more like famous small bars like Connolly's 45, Arlene's Grocery, Blackthorn, some of these like huge name places, but probably the one that I like the most was a place called St. Vitus in Brooklyn, and that's where they hold these like secret shows that you never hear about. Like there was the week after I played there, they had a reunion show without Kurt Cobain for Nirvana. So
Oh wow.
I've played on the same stage like a week after Jay-Z. I've played on a stage like after, Dave Grohl and like the whole Nirvana lineup and stuff like that. And I got to play some shows with some big bands. Like, have you ever heard of Morbid Angel before?
I have not.
Okay, so like Morbid Angel, Destruction, Arsis, like
Fucking metal.
these real like heavy like death metal bands. Like that's so I ended up going from, learning how to hold a 4 count beat in Leon's garage to uh having an album. You can actually listen to my album on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music.
What is that album called?
So the name of the band is Winter Nights, and the album is called Endless Apocalypse.
Endless Apocalypse.
Let me just double check.
All right. Small detour. Just because if it was a magic card, what does it do? Color and casting.
Say that again.
Endless Apocalypse.
Oh, hang on. I want to make sure I'm giving you the right album name here because I don't always listen to my own shit. Hang on. Yeah, it's called An Endless Apocalypse. So that
Nice.
was my one studio album. There's plenty of stuff on like YouTube of live shows. We have some like EPs and some demos up on YouTube and stuff like that. But that was one that we actually spent some money and some time in like a professional studio and did. So Endless Apocalypse. If this was a magic card, it's definitely a black and red card. It's going to have at least a 6 casting cost, and it's going to be something like every turn, destroy a land, sacrifice a creature, discard a card from your hand, and take a walk around the block before you can come back and play your next card.
Nice. 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 Uh, nice. I like it. I like it. Um, like what's it? So I knew when we talked last year, I knew I knew we talked a little bit, but what was it? What's fantastic right now is you lived a fucking pretty decent life after you fucking left here, man. You fucking really did the fucking CTW, man. You thought it and you spoke it and you fucking did it.
That's right. I spent
Yes.
17 years in New York City. I
Okay.
went from my first year there, almost starving to death twice, working a commission door to door job, which was that fabled job that my brother promised me would bring me so much
Yeah,
money. So that job actually didn't even pan out for more than 8 months.
you
And
got hustled.
I ended up getting hustled. So I moved on to finding hourly work. So while I'm doing this door to door job, I applied to Circuit City. And I had applied for the job and they never called me. They never talked to me. So I went in every single day for a month and a half. And I asked them if they had an opening. Do you have a part time opening? Do you have a full time opening? I waited in their break room for 8 hours, some days, 6 hours, other days, waiting to see if I could get an interview. And they finally broke and said, we'll give you a part time job. So they go, we're going to pay you $9 an hour, which is, you know, pretty good compared to wages. But now I'm in
Right.
New York. So now we have the New York cost of living. So I tell the guy straight up, I say I'm worth at least 1050. So I spent a month and a half begging this guy for a job, and then he finally hires me, and I tell him he's lowballing me, and I say I'm worth at least 1050 an hour, and he takes it. He bites, and he goes, fine. And then I get hired on a part-time basis. And for 2 months straight, I ask him every day, do you have full-time hours? Do you have full-time hours? Do you have full-time hours? Every single day I clock in, clock out. You got full-time hours? And he finally gives me full-time. I'm selling TVs, car audio equipment, this, that, and the third. And it lines me up to start meeting people from the music scene. And
Yeah.
it just kind of expanded from there. But it was a lot of job popping and stuff for a while. And I ended up in that call center job. And I've been in call centers for the last 14 years. And that's just kind of been my gig.
All right. Hey, say what you want about call center jobs, man. There is something nice about working remote. Are you working remote?
I was for a while, but this job that I got in town after I got laid off because AI took my job, like the internet
Mm.
told me wouldn't happen, it did happen. And I have to work in an office for the
All
first
right.
time in like 5 years or 4 years.
Right. But still, call center jobs I think are fucking great. Like I like I don't want to go out and do anything. Like I don't want to be moving around. It's
Yeah, man.
decent money.
I don't
Um,
have to stand in the Florida heat and do manual labor or, this,
right.
that,
You
and
don't have to
third. Like
shuck and jive.
I'm totally okay with that.
Right. Um, fucking like I I appreciate that when you left that you did something that I could be proud of, knowing who you were, and excited for you to leave. Like it was weird. It was one of those. Do you ever watch Ted Lasso?
I think I have a couple of times. Sure.
Okay. There was a phrase in there where it was something like a mentor uh knows that you'll leave, but a great mentor knows or wants you to leave. So like when you were leaving, like it sucked because I knew it was going to change the dynamics, and I knew that that was a like a turning point or into a new chapter. But like I'm super happy that you did it and that you hustled, like you kept doing the fucking what you learned for 3 years hanging out. It's like if you want something, fucking be annoying about it and just fucking go out there
Yeah,
and do
man.
it. Have fun.
And if it's something that I want to do or I need to do, like I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have to wait. Like, no, that's not how we did things, and that's still not how I do things. Like this
Very
new
nice.
job that I got, they were trying to lowball me on the pay, and guess what? I'm not about it. I told you that was my minimum. Are you telling me I'm worth the minimum? Like, let's go. We need to talk about my contract. And now they're putting me through the management training cycle. So for the first time, that hustle is getting me into management above my cap so far, which is supervision. So I just keep pushing, man. It never
Very
stops.
nice.
It never stops.
It never does. Um, so you were in New York. You said 17 years.
Mhm.
You moved away like 21 years ago. So what have you been doing the last 5 years? Where are you at now?
So I am in Sebring, Florida, which is like if you threw a dart at the center of Florida, that's where I live. It's
Okay.
Highlands County, and it's this small town that actually recently appeared on HGTV for like this city makeover thing. So now there's like tourists and stuff that come by. But my wife and I moved here to be closer to her family that wasn't doing too good health wise. And we ended up kind of closing that bridge because, family isn't always the greatest thing to you when you need it. But we bought a house and
Very nice.
we have a house here. It's a 3 bedroom. I have this big barn out back that I turned into a studio and garage, and my wife and I are now permanent residents of Sebring, Florida.
Very cool, man. Where did you meet her? Was she a New York find or a Florida find?
She is a New York born and bred woman. Uh, she had lived in New York for, I'd probably say 90% of her life. She lived in Maine for a time when she was a kid, but she is a Staten Island woman. So I met her actually on the job that I took in 2017, and I was working there for a bit, and she had noticed I was wearing this Metallica hoodie, so now we have like this talking point. It's always been like music. Like my
Right.
my life kind of evolved into like this music centric kind of thing. So she noticed, we started talking, and we've been married for 7 and together for 9.
Very fucking cool, man. Uh, do you ever talk to her about the old days?
Sure. I mean, I'm always, she's always telling me stuff, and we go back and forth, and I told her like if it wasn't here, it was gonna be that we moved to.
Oh,
So
very nice.
those were our two options, and it ended up being closer to her family. So we came down
Right.
here, but I told her, I said I have some real good people. This guy, Ben, he's had it. I told her a story about you all the time. I said this guy Ben, when we were kids, he already had his house set up, and he was doing the 2 3 jobs, hustling to keep it going. So she knew all about you for a while.
Very cool, man. So what's next for you? Any kids? No kids.
Absolutely not. Uh, you may want to cut this out, but fuck them kids. We don't do kids around here. We don't even like it when people bring their kids here. I'm like, I don't want that kid touching my stuff with his grubby hands. Like we don't do that. So no kids. So there's this epidemic in Central Florida where when you go to a bar or you hear that a show's going on, it's a cover band. It's always a cover band. It's always a band playing someone else's music.
Hmm.
Nobody writes original music. And in New York, my nickname for 10 years was No Covers Mike. We don't play covers when we're in bands. We don't do that. So I come down here, everyone's playing covers. There are no original bands. So recently, I met this guy, Matt, and I'm actually creating a band for some live shows out here.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get back into the music stuff. I tried to get into the magic stuff when I came down here because there's a card shop 5 minutes away from here. And I started hanging out in there trying to see like what the deal was. I'm like, hey, you got any trades? Like I brought my folder down, like I had everything set up, and everyone plays Commander. Nobody plays Type 2. There's no such thing as Type 2. So I'm taking the music route. If I can't go the magic route, I'm gonna go the music route. So that's
Right.
always my train of thought, man. It's that shit. If it's not cards, it's gonna be music. Like that's it.
Very cool, man. Fucking
What
good
are
for you,
you
man.
gonna
Like,
do, Ben? What are you gonna do? Like I'm gonna start asking you some questions.
let's fucking do it,
So
man.
you've been doing this podcast, you said, for about 3 years now. What were you doing? Uh, Not necessarily just to entertain yourself, but what were you doing before the podcast to kind of get the personality of Ben out there?
Um, I think part of the reason why I liked it was I didn't know where Ben like what Ben's personality was. It was still working a bunch. Um, God, I've been working 2 jobs for 15 years.
Yeah.
A lot of my fucking circles have fucking just closed off. So, um, I don't know if there was a lot of like Ben. I think he was just kind of just going like looking backwards. I was just fucking just trying to survive through life. Got into a couple of relationships that were bad, had some good stuff, and then fucking like in weird Benisms, it was just like, let's just get rid of the good shit and keep all the bad stuff. So like I struggled for a minute there.
Right.
Um Still surviving. Like it was weird because it's like I always kept everything. The only constant was Ben working 2 jobs and alone. So anytime like something would come in, I would like embrace it for a second until it imploded on itself, or anything good came in, I'd be like, "Ah, get away from me." So like, um,
So would you
so
say
when
that
the
you
pot
maybe avoided things that would change your everyday kind of, train of thought? Like you've been in the hustle zone for so long,
right.
something else comes in that kind of interrupts that. You're not about it. You're not.
Yeah, yeah, because like, it's a very like, I lived a very routine life, so when something would come in and disrupt it a little bit, I would try to embrace it, but then I would, like, there were so many, like, bad decisions where I'm like, "I know this is bad, but I'm gonna ride this thing out for a minute." And then if anything ever good came in, I'd be like, "Ah," I'd get scared and just fucking run the fuck away. Um,
Right.
uh, but I had, Liam was, so a lot of it was, just hanging out with Liam. So, he was born in 2010, so he just turned 16.
Mhm.
So a lot of it was just, uh, Ben is the guy who works 2 jobs, sees his kid on the weekend, and just takes care of the bills, make sure, uh, I'm surviving, he's surviving. So, a lot of it was that we would when I would have him, it was trying to introduce him into a lot of my stuff. Here's the movies I liked, here's the video games I liked, and kinda just, like, building a relationship with him.
Right.
And then my daughter was born, um and she's the coolest fucking thing in the world, man. But then I started getting to this point where I'm like, I don't want to continue where I've been. So I was like, what do I do? And my son had this idea of like started asking me a lot of questions, which is interesting because I love talking old timey. I love talking nostalgia. And he kept asking me all these like random questions about what I was like as a kid. And I was like, "Hey, man, what if we just started podcasting? Like, what if we started just recording some of these old memories before I start forgetting everything?" And I use the podcast as the way to redefine the next chapter of Ben, which is I want to get away from pushing away all the bad, or all the good things, and keeping all the bad things, and kind of just struggling. And I want to just focus more on being creative, and just reconnecting with family, friends, and that's kind of like where you eventually came in.
Right. I
Where
feel like that's something that we had a lot in common after we decided to, quote unquote, grow up
right,
and, go about our lives as we kind of needed to focus on our creative side to
yeah,
to see any kind of personal growth. So it's really cool that you're doing the podcast stuff. So like when you
Right,
hit me up the first time, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, I'll talk to Ben for 2 hours straight and put
right.
it on audio. This is cool, man. Like I'm proud of you. So
Uh,
I'm happy to hear that you're doing a lot better, and I hope you continue to focus on you, man, because you deserve
right,
good days just like anybody else, man.
right. Yeah, the podcast has definitely given me that outlet to definitely talk. So I can so instead of bottling it all up, talk about it. Um, and then I really do enjoy fucking I love talking, man, and telling stories. Um, and then being able to share because I look back when we started it, even today. So my daughter just turned 6. Whenever she grows up, she has like 500 hours of her old man on the internet, just fucking being like the probably the best version of myself I've seen in fucking years. And she's gonna have this library of this embarrassing shit from when she was 3, and just be like, "This is what my dad was like." Like this, my dad's an idiot. He's a fool. Um, but I'm glad that this is the only version of her dad that she knows. Where she doesn't like see any of the old struggle or the fucking the emo Ben. So like we got puppets, like me and her, we fucking play with puppets. We fucking record. She jumps on the podcast. So we go out and do cons. Like we do a couple of conventions. I go out to Chicago once a year for a convention and just I enjoy just talking to people, hanging out, and just reconnecting and shit.
That's cool, man. I did see some posts of you with your booth set up at a
Yeah.
con, and I was like, wait, is this a weed con? Because I see some pot symbols in the back. I'm like, what did I miss? I'm like, since when is Ben
Right,
involved in any of this?
right. You start raging out. You're like, who got him into it?
Yeah, I'm like, who?
It's supposed
How
to be
much
you.
money did it take?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, it was Kevin Smith's con. He does Chronic Con. So yeah, a lot of his movies are weed related.
Yeah, of course they
Uh,
are. Yeah.
so, but yeah, man, I'm digging the new chapter. 40 fucking turned out really cool for me. So
Yeah,
I'm
40's
fucking
been, I will say, I just turned 40 last year, so I feel like 40 ended up being a pretty good age to figure out where you want to go.
right,
I don't know if I'd call it a midlife crisis, but it was definitely like, I'm going to call it a midlife intervention where
right,
we intervened on our own behalf to kind of straighten some things out. So
all
yeah,
right.
I'm happy for
Uh,
you, man. Like it's
Thank
cool
you.
seeing you do your thing. But what about like you said that you play Pokemon?
Uh, I dabble in it. I play Pokemon Go like a fucking crazy person. Pokemon
Everybody
trading
did.
card game.
Everybody did in New York. It was crazy. So I'm going to give you some insight about how big
All right,
this got. So Pokemon Go comes out and they have these events every once in a while. They're like, go to these gyms, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even kidding you, in a wide open space, shoulder to shoulder with like 7,000 people trying to fight Pokemon at a gym in the middle of like nowhere at like a beach or in a field somewhere. Like New York was nuts. So I'm like, maybe this is a good time for me to finally get into this. And it was honestly insane. And there's people still playing it today. There's still people walking around like, let me chuck this. I see people all the time walking around, bong, bong. So it was huge in New York, man. Like that was the
uh,
first time I think people actually got together for no reason at all other than to just
right.
catch some Pokemon.
We went to Seattle for Go Fest, so we did a 2 weekend, a 2 day weekend Pokemon event in Seattle. I went to Vegas and did one.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
Dude, like just 20,000 people just walking around this field, like this big park, and all we're doing is like you said, just
Yeah.
catching Pokemon.
It's just shoulder to shoulder in the middle of nowhere. Like, how is this happening? I thought it was like
Uh,
a really cool phenomenon. So I'm glad you
right.
actually like went out and traveled for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
really cool. I just walked down
Because
the block and there were 3,000 people. Like I didn't have to go
right.
anywhere.
Um, yeah, it turned into one of those things where like my son played it for a minute, so it was one of those things that we can bond over. We did try to play a trading card game at one point. So like, fucking kids, man, fucking like Yu-Gi-Oh kids. So he comes home one day and he's got fucking cards in his pocket and he pulls out his cards in his pocket. And I'm like, what are you doing with cards in your pocket? For one, no sleeves. I'm like,
No
what are you
sleeves.
doing? I'm like, he's like, well, I want to start collecting Pokemon cards. I said, okay. I said, I'm fine. I'm like, I love this. So I'm like, but if you're going to collect, I said, you need to learn to play the game because you got to understand the value of what these things do. So for like 6 months, I dropped like 4 grand on cards. Like I'm just buying fucking. We're opening packs. We're collecting. We're putting
Oh
binders
my
together. I'm making
goodness.
decks. Oh my god, we went to a couple of pre-releases. Like he learned to play, but he doesn't like deck construction, and that's my favorite part.
Right.
Crack a couple of packs and build a deck, and just let
Yeah.
him play.
Yep. And that's a
Uh,
skill we picked up because it was like a need on it was like a needed thing that we had to learn to do in order to
yep,
jive with those folks at the card shop. So it's kind of like a mental development that I kind of
yeah,
wish you pushed on him a little bit, but he's at least going in the right path as far as your story is so far. So
all right,
you're ripping, you're filling binders,
all right.
4 grand.
And and he was getting it for a minute, but at that time he was big in that, and then it was Fortnite, and then I fucking lost him, and then it was like I'm going to
Oh.
be a YouTuber, and I was like, oh, never mind. So, but he was getting it for a minute, where,
Oh, never mind.
um, and then I just kept playing it. I play some of it online. I play the pocket version right now for a trading card game.
Okay.
But I generally do. What's interesting is probably for I don't know the last like 10 years. I'd have to ask like because Kelly would watch me. Kelly's Sophia's mom. Um, but she would watch me play old. Like I always had a hunger for trading card games. So like I would eventually find some of these apps and I'd play these weird different fucking app versions, and I would just play like a fucking crazy person, and she would watch me and she's like, what are you doing? And then she would slowly kind of get into understanding the way the game played a little bit, and she like she fell down this nerd rabbit hole with me, and I don't know if she appreciates it or hates it, but she probably knows more nerd shit that she would want, and I might be part of that reason. um,
So
like
you made her open some brain space for that nerd shit.
right,
There's like a whole
uh,
section of the brain that's dedicated to that kind of stuff. So she
right.
had no choice at that point.
No. Well, because like, because she's familiar with a lot of pop culture stuff, and she dabbles in a lot of different mediums and genres of stuff. So she's very knowledgeable about a lot of things. But like the trading card, I'm like, I don't really know if she like hardcore knew trading card stuff. So I found this random pocket. This what was it? It was like 3 minute monsters. So the game was designed with 3 cards, a main phase, and a turn base, and every game was supposed to only take like 3 minutes, and I would upgrade them and stuff. And eventually she got to the point where she started to understand what I was doing. And I was like, I gotcha.
Now you're in it and you can't leave.
Right. Uh, but yeah, so I enjoy I do still find a trading card game of some kind to try, because I think I enjoy deck building. I love finding cards that synergize with each other that shouldn't. Like the original
That's why
crap
you
deck
had
wins.
crap
Like the
deck
deck,
wins. I was just about
like
to
it should
say.
never have won, but it made semi sense.
I'll still never forget one of the first times I met Jake Herder. We're at the card shop and we're sitting in front of each other. It's, a tournament thing. I had to put $5 in or whatever to be in the tournament. And he's got like one of these like net decks because he's that kind of guy, like he
Yeah,
had like the money and stuff like that. And I come in with a worm themed deck that's nothing but giant green creatures. They're all worms. And I start crushing him with this worm deck. I'm giving random stuff trample. I've got circles of protection in my sideboard. He's so mad. And I end up beating him 2 out of 3. And he stormed out of the card shop because he lost to worms. And then he comes back the next day and I'm there. And he's got this really janky deck, and he goes, I want to go again. And I got him out of net decking by beating him
Nice.
in tournament with worms. So I think I opened his eyes up to it's not
Right.
what you have, it's how you play it, man. That's it.
Right. Uh, yeah, and then you get into like the theory, like game theory about why some cards are better than others. Like I had this one moment, I was online, I wasn't necessarily trolling, but I needed that nerd magic talk. So I found a random forum, I have no idea, fucking like in '08. And like I posed the question, I said, do you first turn shock of birds? And people are like, every time. And I'm like, well, do you first turn shock of land of elves? And it was always like 50-50. I'm like,
Right.
it's the same fucking first turn acceleration. I'm like, you should shock land of elves the same thing as a fucking birds of paradise. And then people are like, no. And I'm like, no, and so like I always enjoyed that conversation of like, quit doing things because a card is expensive or this is what everybody else is doing.
Right. And
Like
that's
do
why
what
net decking was big, and that's why we were able to trade people out of their pants while we were at
right,
the card shop, because they were so worried about what everybody else was doing and not what you could do.
right.
I
Yeah.
always enjoyed that, man, because we used to find some niche stuff, and then we'd start winning with it, and you'd see people come into the shop a little more often with like these janky cards stuck in their deck, like, oh, I decided to put 2 of these crappy
Right.
cards in there, and all of a sudden they're in there with crap deck wins three
Right.
weeks later because they realize like money doesn't matter. It's
Right.
it's all about mechanics.
Well, and it's funny because it's uh, like, tooth and nail for whatever reason. Like I traded a playset at tooth and nails for next to nothing because the net deck of the week was fucking Magnivore or some shit.
Right.
So he's like, I only want stuff for red, blue Magnivore. Fucking bunch of stone rains, a bunch of instances of sorceries. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I took fucking tooth and nail with entwine, and I'm like, do you not understand that like third turn tooth and nail with entwine for 9 mana is fucking pretty good? Like, I don't understand why you guys don't see a third turn 9 cast 2 creatures out of your deck on the board is that good.
Right.
Like,
Because nobody else was doing it yet. So how could it be
right,
good? How could it be good?
right. Because all they see is 9 mana. They're like, oh, 9 mana is too much. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's not.
I'm like, especially when you go Tron, like Tron, you can get out by like literally by turn 3, you excel into something, and like it's bonkers how people. And I like to think that we helped elevate the game a little bit when we were there. Um, I mean, obviously there was the net deckers we were never in to get, but some of those other rando kids, I think started building some janky fucking whatever. They may not have won as much, but at least they were thinking outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we had kind of like we had a presence when we were in there. When we sat
Oh,
down,
for sure.
it was like we had our own table kind of deal, and people were like a little nervous to come sit down. Like, do you wanna play? It's like, yeah, I want to play. Sit down, kid. What are we putting
Right? Of course
down?
I want to fight.
Bust it out. Let's go. Oh, you have
Uh,
85 cards in your deck? Absolutely. Sit down. Let's have
yeah.
a go.
Well, and then there was always occasionally there'd be those moments where somebody would come up, and I know like you and Justin did it a little bit more, but kids would end up coming up and be like, take a look at this thing, and you guys would like, especially when they was 85, you're like, no, take out these fucking 6, cut this like, and you like, and just the idea that people would have you look at the deck and kind of critique it a little bit, and you're like, drop these 6, replace it with these ones because it's technically slightly better. And we did have a presence to the point where they're like, there is a value in these guys. in what it is that they play and what they do.
Yeah, critiquing decks was one of the best parts of being there too, man, because someone will we'll play against somebody and they'll like play this card and I'm like, do you know that this other card exists? It costs one less, it has trample, flying. Like, what are we doing with this in your deck, bro?
Right? Uh, and it's always fun because like the deck would be like on paper it would look pretty good, but it always ran a little slow somewhere, and it was always fun. We would have the same deck for like every week we'd have the same deck, and it was always before we started. You lay it all out, and we would sit there and analyze and be like, "What are we losing to?" And you're like, "How do we fix it?" And like every week there was always like a 2 or 3 card change
Yep.
that would somehow change the entire dynamic of the deck. But it was always fun to be like, we have to troubleshoot this thing.
Yeah.
Like how, like I ran 2 shocks when I was playing Haunted Dragon, and people are like, "Why are you running 2 shocks?" I'm like, "Haunted Dragon comes out, deal 6." I said, and then I put you on a 2 turn clock, but I go 6, 12, 18. I said, shock is just for the kill. So like, why not run a random fucking 2 damage? Why make you like? Why wait one more turn? I can get this done in a turn earlier. So it's like, all right, boom, let's throw a fucking random shock in. And it was like little things like that where people were like, well, the net deck doesn't say to run shock. I said, no, but here's why you
It
do,
sure doesn't. And that's why we run it different, because you'll never
right?
see it coming for one. And two,
Right. Because they think they have an extra turn,
I'm a turn early.
right?
Or I'll shock you in the
Uh,
beginning and you'll have no idea why. Turn one shock directly to me. What are we doing? Well, guess what? Hold on to your butts.
right. Wildfire Hunted Dragon attack for 6. And you're like,
Yeah, man.
go ahead and destroy all your creatures, get rid of 4 lands. And by the way, I life of the loam, bring all my lands back, and I'm back in like,
And we're back
it was
in
so much fun.
business. Oh, I remember when Apocalypse and Wrath of God were in the same Type 2 format
Yeah.
and destroy all creatures, destroy all lands. And we'd have a way to bring it back somehow. And people would just scoop it up, scoop it up.
Uh, Justin Davis had a random deck, Horn of Greed, which like
That
didn't look like
was
it should work,
that was
but
mine.
it. Oh, was it yours?
I wonder if he's the one that I gave the deck to when I moved away from, because
You
that,
had to have.
so it was Horn of Greed, Summer's Bloom, where it lets you put down multiple more lands, and
Play 3 additional lands per turn.
and it leads up to this massive fireball on turn
Right.
2 or turn 3. But that was the deck that I had some of my dual lands in, so I'm wondering if I gave that to Justin before I
Oh,
left, because I can't remember who I gave it to. But that was my deck. I used to bring that to the card shop for type
because he had that deck for a
1.5.
while.
Yeah. So I might have gave that to
100%.
him. That
Yeah,
was the
like
deck I had that was worth $1,100.
that was such a weird, and I'd be curious on what it price is at now.
Well,
Um,
with the dual
like
lands, it's
Exploration
already,
has got to be
yeah.
like a fucking $40 card now.
I think it's somewhere around there, and it's one casting cost. You throw your
Right.
exploration down, put the additional lands for summer blooming. Now we're putting more lands
Oh,
down, Horn of Greed's down. We're drawing cards for each land that we're drawing, and
then
it
we're tap
just,
on tapping.
yeah, and it was just untapping and then tap some more, untap. It was beautiful.
So anybody listening, they're not going to understand any of that. But there was a deck in Pokemon Go or in Pokemon, and here's where I fell in love with Pokemon. So there was turn 1, because I told Liam, I'm like, trading card game is all about card advantage. It's like whatever you can do to limit hand size from your opponent, or how many cards you can draw per turn. So you would go back in the day, uh, 60 cards, 6 cards in your prize. So there's 54 cards left in the deck, and you draw your 7. So you like there was a thing, you would go like turn 1, like uh so you have your Mewtwo out, and then you would go Ultra Ball, discard 2 random supporters, um, just search for any Pokemon. You search for Hoopas. Hoopa searches your deck for 3 more cards. You play another fucking thing that discard your hand to 0, basically. then you play a fucking shaman. Let's say you draw to 6, then you do a bunch of more stuff. You attach some tools and some energies, and you limit your hand size back down to like 2, and then you drop another shaman to draw back up to 6, and you play a couple more things. Like turn 1, you
You're
would
halfway
easily
through your
go
deck.
th yeah, like, no joke, I'm like, "Liam," I said, "The best random first turn is like fucking 32 cards." I'm like, "The idea that at the end of turn 1, I've gone through 32 cards and your opponent goes, 'Pokemon, fucking water, pass.'" I'm like I'm like I got a Mewtwo with fucking energy on it. I got fucking no cards. I'm like, and you play in the from the graveyard, and it's like turn 2 was like, I don't know, attack for 160. And they're like, but yeah, it was like random decks like that where I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm like, this is the game I want.
That was like the equivalent of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Horn of Greed into Horn of Greed into
Right?
Kerbo into Exodia. Have a great day. Like that's
Oh, I love talking Magic, man. Like this old, like shorthand. Just be like, yeah, like you don't have to like the idea that I can say first turn exploration into fucking extra fourth and turn 2, like the idea that you can just like I already know what you're doing. I could see all the tapping, I could see where things going,
yeah.
and then I don't know where you're going with the rest of it. I'm like, oh, uh,
And
I
this
love it,
was
man.
back when Moxes were not $800 a piece.
Right.
So, we have some Mox Emeralds in the deck. We're throwing out some zero casting costs, mana creators, and it's like there was like a whole different world with the 1.5. And I watched this guy play the deck with Horn of Greed in it, and I had never seen Horn of Greed before. So I'm like, I'm making that card mine. Like, I want to figure out how to make this card. So at the time, there wasn't like a huge digital database of Magic cards. So
Well,
what I
no, not at
used to
all.
do was go to the card shop, and they had these books where it would have the cards listed for the set and what they did.
Yep.
And I'd go through the book with a notebook and a pencil. And I'm like, that's going in, that's going in, that's going in. I'm like, so how do I convert all of this into a kill? I'm like, how many cards in uh, this catalog that I'm looking at are an X casting cost? So now we're going through
Right.
X casting costs, and I'm like, wow, fireball! It's right there. It's staring me in the
Right.
face. I got 700 damage on turn 2, or I'm throwing out Tranquility or whatever it was, pay X, gain 700 life.
Right.
Now I could pass my turn. Now you can go, and you can see if you can kill me on turn 3. Go ahead.
Right. Oh, those were the good old days, man. Like, I do enjoy fucking game theory, and I'm always looking for something to try to break the game. I'm always looking to break a game. Um,
Absolutely. Do you play
um,
any of the digital Magic games like Magic Arena?
no, I want to. I have a very addictive personality, so obviously, uh, I'm careful what games I get into because I'll drop a grip of fucking money into it.
So I spent no money on that game. I just want to put that up front. I spent no money
Okay.
on that game. But if you play it enough and you go through the rank system, you get a shit ton of cards. So I used to almost get myself in trouble because I'm work from home and I'm playing Arena for like 3 hours straight, forgetting that I'm clocked in and I'm just building a deck for like 2 of those hours. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to like alt tab right now and see how many Teams messages I've missed. Oh my God. So yeah, I feel you with the addictive personality part of Magic, because
Right.
that's kind of how we all got into it. You got nothing to do. It's idle hands kind of deal,
Right.
and you put a deck in those idle hands, or a deck, a card book in those idle hands, and boy, I'm organizing, I'm building, I'm strategizing, I'm creating proxies for the stuff that I know should
Right.
be in there, but I can't afford. So yeah, man, I get
Cool.
it
Do you ever find yourself shuffling cards?
all the time.
Uh, it's um, it's I have fidgets. Fidgets. like all over the place. Like, I 100% find something to do with my hands. Put a deck of cards in front of me, and I'm shuffling them for days. I love shuffling cards.
I actually invested in a Kickstarter for something called the Fidget Cube when it first came out, and it was like it kinda looked like a big dice, like a big
Yep.
six-sided dice, but it had, like, clicky buttons on it, it had, like, a roller ball, it had, like, a controller joystick on it, like, all that
Yep.
kinda stuff. I wore that thing out for the exact same reason, like, when I'm sitting there, like, I need to either be, futzing with cards or doing something, and I think that's because of Magic for
Right.
25 years.
Right. Um, I appreciate you hanging out with me, man, for fucking 2 hours. It means a lot because like, when I reached out, I didn't, when I started looking at people I wanted to out to, you were the first one. I'm like, you're going to be the one that's going to set the tone for what I do when I start looking for other people from back in the day, or when I talk to from people from years ago. Um, so like I appreciate one that I was able to find you and that you're fucking still cool as shit. But
Thanks, man.
it means a lot that you did something with our time, and I'm not going to take credit for it, but I will take credit that uh, you were in a position because of our time together to really put yourself out there and just really start like chasing this random fucking dream of being a musician, or uprooting your life and be like, I'm gonna go to New York. And it's like, because it had to have been like the scariest thing in the world to do at fucking 21.
Yeah, man. Absolutely
And
was, but we had done so much shit on the fly while we were hanging out and, just in general, just kind of you speak it, you do it kind of deal. Like I was
right,
kind of ready for anything at that point. So to move forward, it was not a matter of like how, it was just a matter of when. So
right,
it's never been about the how. If if I have an idea or something that I wanna go for, it's just like, "So when do we start?
right.
So when do we
Like our
do
entire
it?"
life is fucking debt construction. It was
Eh,
like, I don't know like how to do it, but let's take this out, try this way. Let's fucking sit and fucking beg for the job for fucking 6 weeks. And it was
yeah,
like,
man.
never give up. So I'm glad that it's like I didn't intend chasing the whimsy to have so much in connection with the way that we did things back in '06. But there was, but I do appreciate that whatever I did back then somehow has kind of like been like is still instilled in me, that I help apply that to where we are today with chasing the whimsy. Um, like we're chasing that whimsy, but back in the day, man, it was crazy team wins. So, you know, we were winning back then, and if you're chasing your whimsy, you're winning now. So, I always thought it was real fitting, and I really wanted to make sure that, um, when I'd started this idea of the podcast, that I remembered what we were at my favorite time in life in fucking '06. So I appreciate you for fucking, um, randomly coming into my life, and help me get through those first couple of years when I was in the house, man. Because I don't know, like you look backwards and it's always interesting because they could have gone 100 different ways,
I could've.
but it always seemed like that was the perfect and the most like, I want to say fate, but everything worked out in a way that we needed each other for something, and we still are impacting each other, 21 years later. So I
It
appreciate you.
just happened to be that all of us were in kind of like a transition period in
Yeah,
our lives at the same time. So we all kind of like fed on each other for like how we wanted to do it or where we were going. So yeah, man, like
right.
I think about my time out there during those 3, 4 years where I wasn't all the time. And the biggest part of that was hanging out with you and your folks. So
Yeah, like because you moved out kind of, but not really, because you still went home occasionally. It was always funny because it was always like because you live right down the street. So and same thing with Justin. It was like once a week we have to go home so we can check so he can check in on his mom, and
Right.
then you guys spent so much time there. But there was always that day you have to go check in and make sure mom's doing okay and like make an appearance and get some new clothes and pick up a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
but
that was all we needed. It was we were still trying to like locate our independence, but at the same time
yeah,
we hadn't fully transitioned out of that yet. So yeah, we had to show our face. I'd spend a couple of nights and do some gaming or whatever, hang out at home, help around the
all right,
house, and then back out we go.
all right. Um, have you ever been presented with an opportunity to semi influence or mentor somebody in the way of the fucking CTW, the think it, speak it, do it?
Uh, Probably more so in the music scene in New York than
Okay,
anything, because I was kind of like I never try to like, toot my own horn, but I considered myself more of a trendsetter while I was in New York. I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. And when people notice you doing your own thing, especially in a place like New York, where people want to be trendy, they follow the trends, that you get a chance to kind of show someone the light that you see that brings you to how you're doing things. So I'd say in the music scene, yeah, I've had some opportunities to like meet some people that were not really sure what they were doing, and then by the time our time was it was time to separate, they were their own man or their own person
perfect.
when we were done. So yeah,
Right.
it's and it always you think about those people a lot. So I get why
Yeah.
you know, we hang on to our '06 time together because there was a
Right.
lot of that going on.
Um, because I right now we're doing a lot of that stuff with the podcast. Is when we go to these panels, we do these two panels where we just encourage anybody who wants a podcast to podcast. And like I went to this one lady's house to help set her up, her microphone and everything. Um, so like I'm still doing what I can to be like whatever it is that you want to do. I don't care what it if you want a podcast, whatever. Support anything that you want to do that's fun, creative, or something that you want to do. So, for
Mm.
3 years, I've been sitting on if you think it, you speak it, you do it. So now that that is out, that's gonna be part of like the fucking random motto of fucking year 4, man.
Yeah, man. And I hope your year 4 blows up too, man, because you got a good thing going on. So I
Thank you.
look forward to your success.
I'm going to pull up your album. I'm going to probably play that somewhere on one of the live streams, probably. I would love to. I'd like to have you back. I don't know, like every fucking couple of months. We'll fucking just do a check-in episode or whatever. Maybe you can play us something. Keep us updated on what you're up to.
So I got this audio stuff that I hooked up in the studio, so I might be able to record some stuff coming up. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a sound engineer on my own time, so it might
Right.
take a little bit, but I could have some for you, man.
All right. Yeah, man. Fucking. Uh, I would be yeah. Some. Maybe a little, but something special, something exclusive for fucking chasing the whimsy. Let me know, like I don't know, a couple of
You know what
30
comes to
seconds,
mind when I
maybe.
think of you and music, Ben? Fucking Shine Down. That's what I remember. You were like way into like Shine Down.
Fucking.
Uh, that song 45.
Yep.
Brother, that was like the anthem in your house. So maybe I'll think of something like that. Some
All
music
right.
related I remember about you. Maybe a little Alice in Chains or something. I remember that
All
playing a
right.
little bit.
When you're when you're mixing music and stuff, do you only record drums, or are you able to like synthesize like different instruments while you're playing drums?
So I have this program is called Cakewalk, and they do have instrument um like add-ons that you could add to like whatever project you're working on. I still haven't fussed with it yet, but I got a buddy that I'm working with that he's a guitar player and he puts his own drums on the track. So he kind of knows how
Okay.
to set that up. So I could probably come up with some.
Alright. Uh, yeah, we're reconnecting. I need to make sure that you have your place within the Whimsyverse here. So whenever you come up with something, send it over, man. I'll fucking use it as a theme song. Fucking A, man. Fucking just like something.
Yeah, I got you, man. I might be able to come up with some cool.
All
Your
right.
intro is like what, 60 seconds, 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
About 30 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you like some Seinfeld fucking bass rip going on, you know. Boom, 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 boom. No, I'm just playing.
Uh,
I found out that that was
uh,
done on a keyboard. It wasn't even on a bass guitar. I got so mad, man. Some dude didn't even play that on the bass guitar. I lost my shit and closed my phone.
hey, you like rethinking life.
Yeah, I'm like, how the hell did I think that this was a real musician? I'm going home. Goodbye.
The next time you come on, or the somewhere in the next one or two next times you come on, you fucking bring your girl on, fucking get to know her.
Yeah, I'll see what she wants to do. She's not.
She's like,
I don't know if
fuck
she's.
no.
Yeah, that's gonna be up to her. But I'll ask the wife if she wants to be on
All
the
right,
next one. Sure, because
we're just here having fun.
she's got her own story, man. Like she's the time that she was in New York, she's been through her fair share of shit before me and her met, and it just kind of we evolved with each other
Right,
to overcome the trials and tribulations of life because
right.
there have been plenty of them, man. So I'm sure she's got plenty of stories.
Um, you're CTW 2.0 right now, man. So you are officially in the Whimsyverse. Um, so she might have to come on because I need to know that she's taking care of you. So
All right.
like,
And she is a
so
Malleo, so she carries the name. So I'm sure
very nice.
yeah, she'll bring some. If I can get her to
All
do it.
right.
I'm not sure if she'd be into it, but I'll ask.
10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes and then she can fuck off. Do you know what's funny? What's funny is, no joke, I'll give her 10 minutes. But there's something really fun about fucking just reminiscing, podcasting, and just talking. So I'll give her 10, but I bet you we keep her on for an hour.
I hope so. Because I think that
All
would
right.
be
Well,
cool, man.
I'm gonna let you get out of here.
All right, brother.
Um, I can't thank you enough for everything that you were, of who you were, everything that we did back then, and then everything that you did moving forward. Like real proud of you for fucking chasing those fucking random whimsies, man. Fucking being crazy, fucking looking for that win.
Listen, man, I'm speaking it and I'm doing it and I'm gonna keep doing it. So I look forward to the next time, man.
All right, buddy. You have a good night. Thank you.
All right, you too, man.
Whimsy.